Let's move on to our guy, or our former quarterback, Mr. Justin Fields. Now, I gotta say this about Justin because I don't want to say this, but it's a little bit of tough love that I have to say. Now, there comes a time every year as a Bears fan where you root for these quarterbacks, especially the last couple of years, and that moment hits you where it's like, this kid ain't it. Now, y'all all know, if you are OG listeners of 79th and Hallis, I never want to miss Trubisky on this team. In fact, when they drafted him, that was probably our most watched, listened episode of the pod because I absolutely lost it. And that's after I took a 2-mile walk down La Brea Avenue in Los Angeles to calm down. And I probably would have walked more if I didn't have to record the podcast. That's how irate I was. But I still gave the kid a chance. And I gave him 2 years. And then when 2019 came and it was like week 4 and he still didn't have a touchdown, I was like, yeah, man, this dude ain't it. With Justin Fields, I think it was the second Packer game of his second, well, he got drafted in 2021. Yeah, so of his second season, I want to say. But I was just like, he got potential, but it's just not it. And we're seeing it right here. You know, he went to the Steelers last year. Everybody kept saying it was coach. And by the way, this is not me taking Matt Nagy or Matt Eberflus off the hook. They are just as complicit in Justin's development as anything. Just look at Daniel Jones. Coaching matters. Daniel Jones is like a different quarterback in Indianapolis. Coaching and the situation matters. Justin never had the coaching or the situation coming into the NFL, and he just was never able to respond to it. Granted, the book is definitely still out on Caleb. I don't want to be out here giving a victory lap about Caleb Williams like Caleb is some made quarterback. No. He is having a really good sophomore season so far. I think he's been a solid quarterback. And honestly, from the year and 5 games that I've seen from him since Justin left the building, everything I've seen from Caleb is better than everything I've seen from Justin. But the book is definitely still out on Caleb as well. But you see more potential. And they brought in Ben at the right time. That the bad tendencies that Caleb was picking up, we're already seeing those tendencies shred. Justin's tendencies are still there. And it doesn't make it any better that you tend to send him to 2 defensive-minded organizations. He went from one defensive-minded organization to the other 2. Love Mike Tomlin. That boy can't score points. They ain't scored points in Pittsburgh since that quarterback who should be in prison right now left. So that is not a good situation for a young quarterback. And then you put him with the Jets. The Jets made Aaron Rodgers look bad. You know how bad you got to be as a franchise to make Aaron Rodgers look bad? That's how bad the Jets are. And then you on top of that, you put him up with Aaron Glenn, like Romo said in the chat. We're going to talk about this in a minute. He's going to be a defensive coordinator again. It's just bad. Justin is the king of meaningless touchdowns. And you see the little amazing runs. You see the little deep balls every now and then that make you believe. It's like a woman that you're with, or if you're a woman, a man that you're with, who just does enough. You know what I'm saying? They forget your birthday, but then they, maybe the dude bought you some flowers on a Wednesday or whatever. But then you forget he ain't nothing the rest of the week. That's pretty much what the Justin Fields relationship was a little bit. And you see it with the Jets as well. And I told my Jets fans, homies, when he does these spectacular runs, do not get excited. And that's what he's been. In fact, I got a stat. I named this on the local hour, but I got the accurate stat right here of when it comes to Justin Fields in his NFL stats. So, Justin Fields is 0-26 as a starter when the opponent scores 21 or more points. And the Jets are the first team in NFL history to start 0-5, and this on the defense, to not record a single takeaway. So that is not good news for Justin. I think this season pretty much is going to solidify that Justin's days as the starting quarterback is up. I don't think it's going to be one of those things where he's out of the league. Obviously, there's way worse quarterbacks than Justin Fields. But I think he's going to be a backup. And that's unfortunate. But that's just what it is, man. I think that remember, Bang, when we were getting ready for the 2024 draft, oh, my God. The 4 longest months in Bears social media history, Bears discourse history, where everybody's talking about Caleb of the Hall. Tell me how that Hall is looking right now, looking at Justin Fields and looking at Marvin Harrison Jr. Does Marvin Harrison Jr. look like the receiver we thought he was going to look like? No, he does not. So imagine if we had both of them. Oh, my God. I would be worse than I am right now. it just doesn't look good right now for Justin. Tell me what you saw from Justin, what you've been seeing from Justin. Do you think it's curtains for our boy?
I said this at the beginning of the year. I think it was the first episode where we came back, where I don't know what the future looks like for Justin Fields because I don't even see him as a backup. Like what is he going to be
Damn.
doing to prepare? That part of a backup's job is to help the starter prepare. I don't see him doing that. I don't see him doing that. So I don't think it's curtains for my boy. I don't think it's curtains for him. But it's damn near there. The fat lady is singing. I saw that stat that you had said that he's not won a game being down 21. And the first thing that I had said was, damn, how many people, like, what does that stat supposed to look like? Like, if you down 21, what is that stat really supposed to look like? But I see traits. Like, I see good moments. That was a game that I was watching heavily. I saw a couple of passes to Garrett Wilson that flew past him. It was too long and stuff. I was more questioning in this situation, did he go to the right team with the right offensive setup? Like Tanner Estran, I believe is his name, the guy that came over from Detroit to become the offensive coordinator with the Jets. He was the passing game coordinator for the Detroit Lions. Is he too young in his infancy of a coach, an assistant coach, a coordinator to groom and grow Justin Fields? Has Justin Fields been in the league long enough to where he is what he is? Or do we still see the potential of a Sam Darnold or Baker Mayfield? When you go to the wrong people, that's what happens. So I don't know if he has the right coaches around him to help get him where he needs to get. I think he needs to be around a vet. I think Ramos is right. I think that seeing him with a Kellen Moore probably would have been better, or somebody that's a bit more expensive. But at the same time, it just may be a situation that Justin is who we thought he was. And it's something to look at. It might be something to look at about the pandemic. I don't know a stat. I've not looked at a stat or anything like that. But two quarterbacks that I look at that came through during the pandemic, Justin and Trey Lance, and look at them both. How successful are these? Like, how really successful are these quarterbacks that went through the pandemic compared to others? I think it's something that's probably going to end up being talked about, studied, might be a 30 for 30.
And that's a good point too, because you look at that 2021 draft, bro. It's booty meat all up in there, bro. Like, it's just bad. Like, if you look at like the top 13 from 2021, there's only one that I can definitely say is a superstar, and he's not a quarterback. That's Micah Parsons. You know what I'm saying? You know, even with Trevor Lawrence, I know he gets away with it because he has a complexion for protection. But he is just as much. He's been a mid bad. There's a reason we call him trick off Trev.
Yeah, like
But you bring
look at
yeah, go
Trevor
ahead.
Lawrence. He's not where he ain't where we thought he was gonna be. Zach Wilson, I don't know where he at. Trey Lance, he was throwing passes that should have been thrown by Justin Herbert, and I would have had this parlay still alive. Mac Jones looks good with Kyle Shanahan. That's my point in this. You get these people with experience, maybe it looks better for them. Trey Lance looked decent in the preseason with Jim Harbaugh. But Zach Wilson, we don't know where he at. Trick off Trev is having a pretty decent season. Mac Jones is on his third team. And then you got Justin.
Yeah, and I think too, I think the thing about it is, you talk about the Baker Mayfields and you talk about the Sam Darnolds. You know what's going to take from that? It's going to take a coach that believes in Justin, a coach that says, I can work with that. Because I know we all like to give, Liam Cohen a lot of the credit for Baker Mayfield. I'm not saying he shouldn't. He does. You know who I'm looking at with Baker Mayfield? Sean McVay.
Yeah.
That little month he spent in Los Angeles changed that. What you seen that mean? We changed his broke ass life. They changed his broke ass life. That's what Sean McVay, just spending a month with Sean McVay, changed the trajectory of Baker Mayfield's career forever. And then Sam Darnold, who played worse than how Justin has played. And at that point with Sam Darnold, somebody he was seeing ghosts in New York. Like, it was bad. You put him with Kevin O'Connell, and it just changed him to the point that now he's in Seattle without Kevin O'Connell, and he still looks decent. He's not great, but he's the starting quarterback in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? And so who's going to be the coach out there who looks at Justin's skill set and says, I can do something with that? I don't know, because it was even hard getting him this contract with the Jets, because it was like, where are you going to go? That's why it took so long for the Bears to actually trade Justin. Everybody was like, oh, I want people to say you could got a second for Justin, which was some of the most asinine stuff I've ever heard in my life. Like, do y'all know anything about trade value? So, yeah, man, I hate to say it about Justin, but it might be curtains. It might. I don't know a coach out there is willing to take a risk, but if somebody doesn't take a risk, get ready to speak back up. Catch I'm Not Gonna Hold You, hosted by Scott Lewis, every Monday and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, only on HNB Media and the Barbershop Network.